What's up, A to Z Sports Titan Game Day Live? It is time for Titans at Lions, and Mason Rudolph, the starting quarterback for the second week in a row as Will Levis continues to manage that throwing shoulder injury. I'm Austin Stanley alongside Easton Freeze to kick off our Titan Game Day Live day of programming, including our pregame, halftime, and postgame show. Every Titans game, regardless of the Titans record, we are right here doing this show 30 minutes before kickoff. And then during halftime, and then immediately after the game for our post-game show for about 45 minutes to an hour. Easton, welcome in. Hope your Sunday is off to a good start. A to Z was able to break some news officially this morning, but I hope you're off to a good Sunday morning. But before we officially get rolling, tell the people what they have to do here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Austin, I'm off to a lovely Sunday morning. It's a beautiful day for some football, beautiful weekend for some football. The Titans are playing, and it may not be so beautiful, but the football in general today, going to be a good time. We appreciate all of you guys that are with us here live on a Sunday morning before the games get going. Help us out. Hit that like button on Facebook, on YouTube. Is there a like button on Twitch? If there is, hit like on there too.
There is not.
Okay, well,
you
know what?
You can just comment like on Twitch.
That's right. That's right. And join us in the comments on any of those platforms like Corey and Lewis, Roll Tide Roll, Justin, Willie, Reginald, and others already are. We want to hear from you guys as the Titans get ready to face perhaps their greatest opponent of the year on the road today. What could go wrong? Austin, here we go.
Yep, let's get it going officially. Welcome into Titan Game Day Live, our pregame show powered by X Golf Nashville and Murfreesboro. I want to thank all of our game day partners, including X Golf Nashville and also now in Murfreesboro, the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. X Golf, play, train, entertain, playxgolf.com. BetMGM, log in today and get your Pro Football Boost Pack to acquire tokens for even more winnings. BetMGM is an official partner of the Tennessee Titans, and T-Dot be part of the solution to end littering and make sure nobody trashes Tennessee by visiting nobodytrashestennessee.com. I have got a bevy of bets out there on BetMGM about this game, 5 to be and exact, and so we'll talk about that later on. We will also get on how the Titans can actually win this game argument, or just at least pitch by Easton. Not like an argument, you're not like saying this is going to happen, but if it were to happen, here's how it would look. We're going to do that.
The narrow path to victory.
Yes. But this morning, A to Z Sports was able to officially break the news that Mason Rudolph is a starting quarterback. Will Levis inactive for the second week in a row, dealing with the shoulder sprain, the AC joint of his right throwing shoulder. We've been working through that. We found out early last week that it looked like it was going to be Mason Rudolph, but got the official word, officially official, as they say, this morning. So it is going to be Mason Rudolph. Let's look at the total other inactives, because I do think there's another storyline that could be juicy here. Tajay Spears misses another game with a hamstring injury. Newly acquired Jerome Baker after the trade is inactive today. So you'll see Jack Gibbons next to Kenneth Murray as the inside linebacker. L'Jarius Sneed, we knew was going to be out again for the second week with a quad injury. New inactive alerts. Nicholas Petit-Frere benched in street clothes. Leroy Watson, we knew was going to be the starting right tackle. We did not know who the inactive tackle was going to be, but it looks like it is NPF. So Easton, before we dive into the quarterback conversation, NPF benched, inactive, street clothes. He can do nothing to hurt this football team. Great move by Brian Callahan and coaching staff to finally bench that guy. Thank goodness. That's the first win of the day. Nicholas Petit-Frere is not wearing a uniform. I consider that a 1-0 start for the Tennessee Titans. Then there's the coin flip. After that, they don't have a lot of wins left.
It makes me happy seeing how happy this makes you. When we found this out a couple of days ago, you were digitally popping bottles via text.
Yes.
Yeah, very excited that MPF is not in the lineup. Frankly, he is inactive today, as he should have been last week, right? And we talked about this during the week. The plan last week, the primary objective was to get Jalen Duncan a look. Fine, whatever, rotate, churn. But it made no sense for MPF to be the backup instead of Leroy Watson, who had started the Indianapolis game and then went to inactive and is now the starter again. So how many guys have gone starter, inactive, starter before without getting hurt? That may be something worth researching. But MPF is the inactive guy, so that means John Ojukwu will be the backup today. Hopefully they won't need to see him, and we'll get to just live and die by the mediocrity of Leroy Watson. We saw him in Indianapolis perform fine, talking to some coaches. not super impressed by that performance just because they got the ball out really quickly. They didn't throw that much. They weren't really tested. So his assignment wasn't all that difficult. Today, a much more difficult situation. Thank God a certain pass rusher isn't up against him. Not thankful that he's hurt, but thankful that he's not having to play Leroy Watson, because that may have made the game unwatchable in and of itself. Yes. But yeah, NPF, we'll talk about this during the week, Austin. I'm not sure we see him again this year. I'm not sure he is an active participant for the Titans the rest of this year. And how about this? Try this on for size. The Titans should actively be trying to trade Nicholas Petit-Frere. We can talk about this later in the week. And if you want to tell me that they can't, they traded Isaiah Wilson. They got a 7th round pick for that guy. So if you can trade Isaiah Wilson, you can trade NPF. There are zone scheme teams out there desperate for a tackle. You can get something for Nicholas Petit-Frere. They should try.
Maybe could you get a box of cereal for NPF? Because Adam D on YouTube says Austin is as thrilled as finding a prize in a box of cereal. Here's what the Titans did. The Titans ate the entire box of cereal. Then they found the bench NPF prize. What I did is I flipped that box of cereal upside down and opened the bottom first, and I found the prize first before the Titans did.
You dumped all the cereal into the trash to get to the prize.
Yes,
right.
That you do. I'm not trying to waste any time here with NPF being out and a Ben Hall. I think everybody has probably said this in their head once. Leroy Watson as right tackle. All right, so let's dive into this quarterback start today, and that is Mason Rudolph is the quarterback. And the title of this show is Mason Rudolph gets to start at quarterback as we shift the goal versus the Lions. Because we could easily ask you guys, does Mason Rudolph give the Titans a better chance to win the game versus the Lions and Will Levis? That's an irrelevant question because we are having to now grade within the lines. We're having to give some type of moral victories at times with this Titans team at 1-5, most likely soon to be 1-6. So let's ask this question to you guys. Does starting Mason Rudolph versus the Lions make you feel better or worse about the offensive competency? We're not talking about winning. We're not talking about scoring more than 17 points. We're just talking about the flat-out competency. So does Mason Rudolph make you feel better or worse about the Titans' offensive competency today? Easton, I'll let you go first. I'll put the question in the chat here. You guys can go better or worse on that. I might even throw up a YouTube poll too here in a second. But what do you think? Better or worse about the competency overall?
Considering the depleted nature of the Lions' defensive front, and it's not just it's not just Aiden Hutchinson. They're missing a couple of guys. They're banged up there. I will say it definitely makes me feel better because I consider Mason Rudolph to be the less navigable quarterback back there. And if I thought that the duress today was going to be just outrageous, I wouldn't feel that great about it. But considering the fact that I think that he'll be okay, it'll be workable back there at times. And considering what we saw from Will Levis in that week's game against Indianapolis, where the shoulder was actively impacting his ability to throw downfield, I definitely do feel better about Mason Rudolph giving them some of that competency. What we're looking for is that first half against the Bills, right? That's, again, it's not even a lead at half. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the way they move the ball up and down the field, the flow and rhythm of the game, the way that we talked at halftime, Austin, about how, hey, remember in the preseason when the first team offense would come out and you'd see the vision of the offense for the first time, and then we kind of saw it again for the first time with Mason at the helm in the first half in Buffalo. That's what we're looking for today. So I think that, does it make me feel good? No. But does it make me feel better? Sure.
Yes. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top and let's see what we got here. Better or worse? Titans Kyle says worse. I don't, maybe you guys can feel free to add any extra analysis to your one word answers here. Corey says better. Derek just flat out says don't care. John says, I'm excited for the World Series. And Brian says, meh. Cost 66 says worse. David says, I feel the same. Don, slightly better. Richie says worse, boring backup. So maybe Richie is just here for the chaos, whether that helps the Titans or hurts the Titans. It's better than being boring, which is that is a way to feel. Corey says better, but Levis is fun to watch, which is following the Richie Guzman philosophy there. Dominic says sane, better, but who cares? Just a big meh. Worse. Clayton says neither. Champ says better, but still going to get blown out 42-10. Corey says better. However, I just want them to let Levis go gunslinger the rest of the season. The key here is you have to have a healthy gun to be able to go gunslinger.
That's right.
And I don't
This gun
think
is jammed right now, my friend.
The gun is jammed. It fell into a pile of mud. Chris says 1-6. Here the Titans come. Sean, worse. If Mason goes down, is Levis active? No, Levis is inactive. Trevor Siemian is the backup quarterback. Levis is not even dressed out to be able to be the emergency quarterback. It is flat out Levis inactive. He's next to Nicholas Petit-Frere in street clothes. So my answer to this question is better. I think the Titans have a better chance of looking competent versus the Lions because, like we talked about the last couple of weeks, when Nick Holtz and the offensive coaching staff have a team meeting say, hey, where's the football supposed to go, here or here? Mason Rudolph answers that question accurately more often than Will Levis does. And I think Mason Rudolph, just from being more experienced in the NFL, has better vision, and the game is probably not as fast for him as it is for Will Levis. So I think you're right about the Buffalo Bills first half. That offensive game plan was really solid. Like they moved the football. Look, the offensive line did let some things up, and there were 3 fumbles in that game. Only lost one of them from Mason Rudolph, and that was actually on the snap botch with he and Lloyd Cushenberry. But I think Mason Rudolph can try to put together a productive offense to show what Brian Callahan's vision might look like. Because I think that's the weird thing about where we are as Halloween's this week. Do we truly know what Brian Callahan would prefer his offense to be? Or are we just seeing what Brian Callahan has to have his offense be because of deficiencies at quarterback? And then there's obviously deficiencies at offensive line at right tackle that are not going to go away, whether it's Leroy Watson, John Ojukwu, Jalen Duncan, or NPF. So I definitely think it's a better competency level here. And 66% of the YouTube votes do say better to 34% saying worse. So, I think that's a good thing. I think for us and for everybody watching this show, competency on the offense allows this game to be watchable for longer than not.
It is funny to me that the majority of people have fully transitioned from looking for a Titans win this week, or I think any week this season, to fully just looking for pure entertainment value. Just do something to make me not fall asleep on the couch this Sunday. Yeah. I think that was demonstrated by our comments there, but I have nothing more to add to this conversation. Looking forward to see what Rudolph can do.
Connor says, I'm recording the game. We'll watch it later. I care more about the A to Z shows at this point. Hey, Connor, thank you. I'm glad that you're here. And if you are like Connor, hit the like button, because a lot of people are not like Connor and just flat out done other things with their Sunday. So please hit the like button, Connor. Appreciate that. And all you guys as well. Ben says, I just want everyone to have a nice day. Us as well. So let's do this, because let's just play a game. Let's just do hypothetical.
Okay.
Right? With our X factor question, we could ask you guys, like we did earlier, who gives a better chance for the Titans to win, which quarterback? But let's say, what's the X factor to win? I want Easton to paint the picture of what a win would actually look like if the Titans win this game. So Easton's going to do that here in a second. That is our X Golf X factor for this pregame show. PlayXGolf.com. That's their website. They've got 2 locations in the mid-state. One in Nashville, around West Nashville area, and then one in Murfreesboro. X Golf Nashville is the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. They also are just a flat-out great sports bar. There's not a lot of really good sports bars in the area, to be honest. X Golf is one that also has the best golf simulators on the market today, and they've got multiple bays for you guys to go out there with your friends, watch Saturday football, Sunday football, Monday football. There's even Wednesday football now in college, all the way. And there's football every night of the week, basically. So you can go watch that football and hit off the tee on any course you want with the self-tee feature with the golf simulators at X Golf. It's phenomenal. Their food's good. Their bar's good. Everything about X Golf is fantastic. So playxgolf.com to book your bay today at playxgolf.com. So Easton, hit it. How do the Titans figure out what has to happen for the Titans to win this game? What does it look like?
An impossible task. But if I were a time traveler and came back from 3 hours from now and were to tell you guys, Titans won this game, and I'm now asking you to guess, how in the world did that happen? I think that there are 2 ways, and I'll rank them in order, maybe likeliness to happen. The number one way, and let me preface this by saying it's an impossible task because I have never been this cannot happen guy in the NFL. This team will not win. My favorite thing about the National Football League is how it is in any given Sunday league. Anybody can beat anybody. I love that element of it. I hate being absolutist. I can't remember the last time I was certain the Titans would lose. I wasn't certain they'd lose to the Ravens when they were 13-point underdogs in the playoffs that year when they won and went to the AFC Championship game. So before then, I'm certain the Titans lose this game. It's just one of those, man. I think this is the nightmare of all nightmare matchups. I think the Lions are the best team in football right now. Some conversations I've had this week have reinforced that. I would be so surprised if they won this game. It would be the biggest upset in my mind in the entire league in a couple of seasons. I can't remember the last time a bigger upset would have been pulled. That being said,
technically, Monday Night Football in South Beach when the Titans were 13.5-point underdogs.
Statistically, yes, but this would blow my mind more than that. Genuinely, this would blow my mind more than that. By a good margin, actually. That being said, if they were to win, the number one way is the other team giving them the win, and more specifically, Jared Goff having his one game of year where he forgets how to play football. If you go back and you look, Jared Goff does this at least once every single year, no matter how well he's playing. And brother, he's playing so well this year. I think the last 2 weeks in a row, he started the game like 16 of 16. He doesn't even incomplete passes. It's been so good. He's playing at an MVP level. And yet, if you go back and you look, at least one game every year, he just forgets how to play football. And he puts the ball on the ground and he loses 3 fumbles, or he throws a couple interceptions, or whatever it is. You think back to the Ravens game last year when they went to Baltimore and got curb stomped. And I was looking it up earlier. There was a game the previous year that was a similar situation.
Yeah. I remember they lost 38-6 against the Ravens or something gross, right?
It was gross. Yeah. And it was immediately over. That's how the Titans can win, is if Jared Goff just forgets how to play football. Is it likely? No, because he's playing his best ball in a long time right now. And usually those forget how to play football games for Jared Goff happen outside. Jared Goff inside versus outside is one of Pro Better's favorite splits, because he is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league playing outside, but inside is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And they play inside almost all year because they're in Detroit, and all of their teams in their division, almost all of them, or half of them, play inside and whatever it is. Especially if it's cold at all. So they're inside, it's warm, it's not cold, unlikely to happen. But that's one way. The other way is Tony Pollard just going ballistic, ascending to an ethereal plane, getting into the fourth dimension, and running all over what I mentioned earlier, this depleted Lions defensive line. Is it likely? Certainly not. But we've seen this year he is the most consistent, by far, shining light for the Titans offensively, week in and week out. He's produced really kind of no matter what the circumstances are. He's got his swag back. He's back 100% from that broken leg. There is a world in which the Titans can just simply ball control the heck out of this game. Tony Pollard runs for 5.7 yards per carry and carries the ball 27 times. And it's like a Derrick Henry-esque game in that way. That's going to take a lot of things going the Titans' way. It's going to take them playing perfectly clean football. No turnovers, no penalties. Last week, the penalties are what really killed them, getting behind the sticks. They've got to stay in front of the sticks. It's got to be flawless, executed, boring football. I don't have faith in them to do that. And it would even then probably still take the Lions playing a little sloppy, which is also not super likely. But those are the way. Jared Goff forgets how to play football, and or Tony Pollard is the best running back of the week.
I think it has to be this has to be like the DeAndre Hopkins 4th round pick trade compensation. It's like
that's right.
It's like 60% of the snaps and the Chiefs make the Super Bowl.
Okay,
Jared Goff gets his talent stolen by the Monstars, and Tony Pollard gets all of Jared Goff's talent. That's another Space Jam reference if you did not get that, because I'm guessing you still haven't watched Space Jam.
Nope, still haven't.
So I think you can add a couple things to that. I think the Titans passing offense would have to do a couple gimmicks that pay off in big ways, because I don't see the Titans being able to hang in this game without explosive plays that nobody expected. And I remember when
Mason Kinsey legacy game today.
NWI. I was thinking like that Broncos game where NWI had 2 touchdowns. One was like a ridiculous toe tap in the corner right before half, and the other was the flea flicker. I think it was like a 75. Something like that. Like they're gonna have to do some goofy things and execute it perfectly
Maybe
to
the
be
Calvin
able.
Ridley breakout game. Finally, that could be a possibility. Maybe he
And
just
like,
goes crazy.
and Clayton said that like with D Hop gone, Ridley would be more of a focus. I mean,
one
but
would
like
think.
it doesn't matter. Like they've flip flopped back and forth like every game this year so far, with one of them getting more targets than the other. Again, the stat that is forever cemented is that in 6 games where Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins were teammates, they didn't have a single game where both of them had more than one catch.
Right.
It was either Diop 1 catch and Ridley 4, or Ridley 1 catch or 0 catches, and D-Hop 4 or 7.
Yeah.
Like there was no balance regardless. And so I think
I don't think it doesn't matter. I disagree with you on that because, like, again, watching the tape, Ridley's open, man. He's open. So if the pass protection suddenly works, which again I don't think it will, but if the pass protection works and Mason has a good game, but I'm modest, right? Like a Calvin Ridley 5 receptions, 72-yard game is
I think that could happen because they're probably going to have to throw the ball 35, 40 times. I think the thing that I disagree with is because D-Hop's gone, Ridley can do that. Like I don't think that is a factor in this. I think the offensive line, the protection, is the factor in all of the problems.
Your point is that Hopkins' presence wasn't prohibiting him from impacting the game before. So now that he's gone and nothing,
right.
You're still hoping.
Hopkins should help. That's the most ridiculous thing, is that having more weapons should help the situation because it should make the defense play more honest, but they can't figure out how to do it because the offensive line has been putrid in pass protection, and or the quarterback has also been just as bad at making decisions. So, look, Eddie says, I might drink all the booze in my house. Don't. You can have some of it, but not all of it. All right. So I do have a lot of bets out on this game. And
I've heard.
I told Easton that I had 5, and they're all single bets. And Easton was like, well, why don't you parlay them together just in case? And I was like, okay.
Get an escalator. If you get the jackpot, make it a jackpot.
And so I did that. So we also want your predictions as well. What is your game prediction, your score prediction for this Titans-Lions game? We'll get to that as kickoff is about 7-8 minutes away. Brian says over under 17 yards for the Titans. We'll see if they can get to 17 points for these, or over 17 points for the second time this season. But we will get to all my bets and we want your predictions. So drop your score predictions in here. But first, BetMGM, an official partner of the Tennessee Titans and also an official partner of A to Z Sports here in the state of Tennessee. And you can use our bonus code ATOZ Sports to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses, but you have to sign up for the first time using our code ATOZ Sports. Go big with that first bet, because if you miss it, you get all that money back in bonus bets that you went with. You also, if you're an existing user like I did, because Easton, not only did I parlay those 5 single bets together, I also had a parlay boost. And I got to use the parlay boost on top of that. And so it is going to be a ridiculously high odds or low odds, high odds, low odds for this to actually hit. So we've got predictions coming in here for the score, including a 69-2 Lions. So I'm going to start, Easton, with my 1 Titans positive bet.
Okay.
Then I have 4 bets that are anti-Titans.
Okay.
My 1 Titans positive bet, by the way, happy National Tight End Day.
Indeed.
I think, and I got it at Josh Wiley over 12.5. Josh Wiley over 12.5 receiving yards. It's National Tight End Day. Last week, the tight ends, all 3 of them, went over 12.5, and they combined for 109 yards. So my first bet, the only one that's a positive Titans play, is Josh Wiley over 12.5 with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. My next bet is Jared Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns. You like that? No Snead?
So, I mean, I do, as long as the Titans keep it relatively close. If it's a blowout immediately, they may just run the ball to the end of the game.
Yeah, but it's passing touchdowns.
I know that's what I'm worrying about. Like he'll throw one passing touchdown and then they'll just run until they get to go home.
Okay.
But I don't hate it. I think that's
Shut
a
up
fine
about
bet.
it. Shut up.
Okay. Well, you asked for my opinion. I'm sorry.
Okay. With Jack Gibbons on the field, this is not a personal attack on Jack Gibbons, but is an opportunity attack for Jack Gibbons playing defense. Jahmyr Gibbs over 19.5 receiving yards.
Big fan of that. Maybe because he's on my fantasy team. I'm a little biased, but I do like that a lot. Yeah.
Sam Laporta over 33.5 receiving yards.
Also in that linebacker vein. Can't disagree with that. Yep.
Yes. And then for the game, Lions minus 11.5.
Yeah. I mean that easy, right? Easy. So I don't hate that at all.
All of those individual, and then I parlayed them together. A couple of the numbers moved slightly. So I have Lions minus 11, Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns, Laporta over 34.5 receiving yards. It moved up a notch. Jahmyr Gibbs over 19.5 receiving yards, and Josh Riley over 13.5 receiving yards. So that moved up a notch too. So I had Laporta and Wiley moved up a yard each. That all together plus my odds boost, because I had a parlay odds boost on BetMGM, plus 1,795.
Love that. $1 into 17.50.
No, I put $10 on there to win 189.
Hey.
So that is that. So how do you feel? What is your confidence level on not the parlay, because that's crazy, but on me hitting like 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 of those individuals?
I'm very confident you hit 3. I feel good about you hitting 4 of them. Yeah, I think it'll be a positive day. Can I share a bet real quick?
Yeah, bring it.
Mine far less serious than yours. I am doing a lot of betting this week, not a ton on the Titans, but I do have it's nerdy. There's a system that I use for parlays, some gross props, this 4-leg parlay here. Jared Goff over half rushing yard, so 1 rushing yard. Tony Pollard over 15.5 rush attempts. Khalif Raymond under 2.5 receptions. David Montgomery under 13.5 rush attempts. That's via a computer. I like that to hit. Via my brain, just for fun, took a little NWI first touchdown because the odds are crazy long. Just threw a little $1 on that. Why not? It's like plus 2,600.
NWI actually catches touchdowns.
Well, it's all he does, right? First downs and touchdowns. So why not a little NWI touchdown? So that's what I'm riding with today.
Okay. I like it. All right, let's get to some predictions. We've got a lot of comments that came on earlier while I was going through my 5 bets. We got Lions 38-3, 38-10 Lions, 34-13 Lions. Jordan comes in with 24-20 Titans, 35-10, 41-14 Lions, 41-17 Lions, 24-17 Titans. We got 2 now.
Hey.
34-13 Lions, 56-3 Lions, 42-17 Lions. I think all 3 Titans predictions have been 24-17.
It's very stock, so I get it, but that is kind of strange. Maybe it's the same guy, just different accounts.
Maybe. Easton, what is your official prediction here? JQ, 17-16 Titans.
Sure. Titans lost last week, 34-10 to the Bills. I think that the Lions are a slightly better team, so give me Lions 35-10.
35-10.
They score 1 more point than the Bills did last week.
Okay. And how many of those, so the Titans are currently have given up 34 unanswered points. Does that streak continue into this game?
No, I'll say it's 17-10 at half. They do another they're still in it, and then things fall apart in the second half. Fair
enough. So you're going 35-10 Titans. I do think the Titans score more points than 10 last week. I'm going to give them 17. I'm going to say 38-17. 38-17 Titans win. I think the defense does force a field goal in there just by bucking up in the red zone. I think that's fair too. Not just giving up straight touchdowns. You know what? I'm going to make it. I'm going to change that Lions score because no, it's going to be 38-17. Lions do win this game. So you're 35-10. I'm 38-17. Tomato. Titans 1-6. That's how we feel about it.
Yep.
It's a tough one. It's a real tough one right there. Thank you to all you guys. If you have watched the show, if you haven't yet, please like the show before you jump off of here. We do have our halftime show coming up right at halftime. Obviously, we do want to thank all of our great partners all season long with X Golf Nashville and also now Murfreesboro, the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. X Golf, play, train, entertain, play xgolf.com. BetMGM. We'll see how much money I can make off of this game today with my bets. You can log in today for a Pro Football Boost Pack. I used my Boost Pack on that parlay together, an official partner of the Tennessee Titans. And T-Dot, be part of the solution to end littering and make sure nobody trashes Tennessee. Visit nobodytrashestennessee.com. We'll catch you later at halftime right here at the same place. Oh, diverse. Before we get out of here, Darrell Baker, pick 6. Keep that in the back of our minds.
You mean the Titans' best cornerback? Sure. Let's see what happens.
All right. We'll see how it goes. Thanks, guys, for watching. See you at half.